The morning sun barely peeked through the smudged windows of Dewdrop Diner, a small-town restaurant that had seen better days. Inside, the clinking of coffee cups and the low murmur of early customers blended into a hum that filled the room. At the heart of it all was Maya Johnson, a 24-year-old waitress whose smile masked the weight of bills piling at home. Her uniform was faded, her shoes worn thin, but her energy never seemed to falter. To the regulars, Maya was the soul of the diner. She remembered every order, every preference: extra cream, no sugar, for Mr. Peters; blueberry muffins warmed, for Mrs. Clark. She worked double shifts, not just to make ends meet, but because she believed kindness mattered, even if life wasn't kind to her. But kindness didn't pay the rent. Her manager, Carla Reeves, a sharp-tongued woman with a knack for making people feel small, didn't see Maya's heart. To Carla, Maya was just another replaceable worker. "Move faster," Carla barked one morning when Maya accidentally spilled a drop of coffee on a tray. "You think smiles pay the bills here? Customers want service, not your sob stories." Maya bowed her head, biting her lip. She needed the job. Losing it meant losing the tiny apartment she shared with her younger brother, Jamal, who was still in high school. That morning, as the diner buzzed, the door creaked open and a man stepped inside. He didn't look like the typical customers who came in. His clothes were simple but carried an air of quiet confidence. His gray jacket was slightly rumpled, his hair tousled as though he'd driven through the night. He took a seat in the corner booth, observing everything around him with curious eyes. New face, Maya thought, grabbing her notepad. She walked over with her signature smile. "Good morning, sir. What can I get you today?" The man studied her for a moment before replying. "Just coffee. Black. And maybe whatever you recommend for breakfast." "Coming right up," Maya said, jotting it down. Unlike most customers, he didn't seem impatient or distracted. Instead, he watched her interactions with others, how she bent down to pick up a child's toy, how she quietly refilled cups without being asked, how she smiled even when Carla scolded her loudly enough for the whole diner to hear. By the time Maya returned with his plate, scrambled eggs, toast, and a side of grits, she noticed his hands trembling slightly as he reached for the coffee. Without thinking, she steadied the cup for him. "Careful," she whispered kindly, "it's hot." For a second, he looked at her with something deeper than gratitude. But before he could speak, Carla stormed over, her eyes narrowing. "Maya," she snapped, "what do you think you're doing? Sitting down with customers now?" "I wasn't sitting," Maya tried to explain, but Carla cut her off. "You've been slow all morning, and now you're chatting up strangers. Get back to work before I write you up." The man opened his mouth as if to intervene, but Maya shook her head slightly. She didn't want trouble. She simply nodded and whispered, "Sorry, ma'am," before hurrying off. Carla turned her glare on the man. "And if the service isn't fast enough for you, sir, you can take your business elsewhere." The man raised an eyebrow, but didn't argue. He quietly finished his meal, leaving a generous tip, far more than the meal cost. Maya noticed it when clearing the table and quickly looked around, but he was already gone. Later that afternoon, Carla called Maya into the back office. Her lips curled in disdain. "You think I didn't see you flirting with that man? This is a diner, not your personal playground. You're fired. Clear your things." Maya's heart dropped. "But I wasn't. I need this job. Please, Carla, out, now." Tears blurred her vision as she gathered her apron and left. No amount of pleading mattered. One act of kindness, steadying a stranger's trembling hands, had cost her everything. What Maya didn't know was that the stranger wasn't just a customer. He was Daniel Hayes, the undercover new owner of Dewdrop Diner. And her firing was about to turn the entire town upside down. That night, Maya sat at the small kitchen table of her apartment, staring at the unopened bills spread before her. Jamal, only 16, looked at her with worried eyes. "You lost your job?" he asked softly. She nodded. "Carla fired me." Her voice cracked. "I don't know what we're going to do, Jamal. Rent's due in 2 weeks. He placed a hand over hers. "We'll figure it out, Maya. You always do." Meanwhile, across town, Daniel Hayes sat in a modest hotel room with a leather notebook open. He had inherited Dewdrop Diner from his late uncle, a man who had built it into the town's heart before falling ill. Daniel had decided to visit incognito, wanting to see how the diner was truly run. What he witnessed had shaken him. He scribbled notes. Manager mistreats staff. Waitress Maya, hardworking, compassionate. Fired unfairly. Customers ignored. No warmth, no soul. Daniel knew his uncle's vision wasn't about profit margins. It was about community. But Carla's management had sucked the life from the place. And the firing of the only person who carried that vision in her smile. That was the last straw. The next morning, rumors spread quickly. Regular customers noticed Maya wasn't at the diner. "Where's that sweet girl who always brings me my muffin?" Mrs. Clark asked. "She brightened this place." "Fired," Carla said coldly, pouring herself coffee. "Too much attitude. We don't tolerate incompetence here." But the regulars weren't convinced. Whispers grew. People grumbled. Something felt wrong. Around noon, the diner's bell jingled, and Daniel walked in again, this time not in disguise, but in a sharp suit that turned heads. Carla's eyes lit up, mistaking him for a wealthy businessman. She rushed over. "Welcome back, sir. I apologize for yesterday. Let me personally handle your order today." Daniel's expression hardened. "That won't be necessary, Ms. Reeves. I'm not here as a customer." He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a folder. "My name is Daniel Hayes. I'm the new owner of Dewdrop Diner." The room fell silent. Coffee cups froze midair. Carla's jaw dropped. "Oh, owner," she stammered. "That's right," Daniel said. "I inherited this diner from my uncle, and I wanted to see how things were going under your management. So, I came undercover. And what I witnessed yesterday was disgraceful." Carla's face flushed red. "Sir, I can explain." "No," Daniel interrupted firmly. "There is no explanation for firing the best employee in this diner. Maya Johnson treated customers with dignity, warmth, and kindness, everything this place is supposed to stand for. And you humiliated her, insulted her, and dismissed her for nothing." Gasps echoed through the diner. The customers who adored Maya leaned forward, eager to hear more. "She's gone, Mrs. Clark whispered. "No wonder this place feels so cold today." Daniel's gaze swept across the room. "Yes. And it ends now. Effective immediately. Carla, you are terminated. Pack your things and leave." Carla sputtered, her face pale. "You can't." "I can. And I just did." The customers erupted in whispers and shocked laughter. Carla stormed out, muttering curses under her breath. But the silence that followed was heavy, everyone waiting for what Daniel would say next. "I owe you all transparency," Daniel said, addressing the room. "This diner was built on community. On kindness. It will no longer be a place where good people are mistreated. Starting tomorrow, we're bringing back the soul of this diner. And the first step," he paused, his voice firm, "is reinstating Maya Johnson." The following morning, Maya awoke to a knock at her door. Still in her robe, she opened it to find Daniel standing there, holding a small bouquet of daisies. "Maya Johnson," he said softly. She blinked, confused. "You're the man from the diner." "Yes," he admitted with a smile. "But I'm also Daniel Hayes, the new owner of Dewdrop Diner." Maya's mouth fell open. "Owner? I don't understand." "I came undercover to see how things were being run," Daniel explained. "And I saw how you treated people. With kindness. With patience. Even when you were treated poorly. You represent exactly what this diner needs. Which is why I'm here, to offer you your job back. With a promotion." Her eyes filled with tears. "A promotion?" He nodded. "Head waitress. Higher pay, more stability. And eventually, if you're interested, I'd like you to help me manage the diner." "You've got heart, Maya. And that's something money can't buy." She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Jamal chimed from behind her, grinning. Maya laughed through her tears. "Yes. 1,000 times yes. Dash dash dash." That very day, Maya returned to the diner. The regulars cheered when she walked through the door. "There she is, Mr. Peters called out. Mrs. Clark nearly hugged her. Even the cook, who rarely spoke, gave her a thumbs up. Daniel stood by, watching as Maya slipped effortlessly back into her role, remembering orders, sharing smiles, refilling coffee with warmth that made the diner glow again. But this time, she wasn't just an employee. She was the heart of a new beginning. By the end of the week, the diner had transformed. Word spread across town. The old warmth was back. People came not just for the food, but for the atmosphere. The place buzzed with laughter and chatter, like it hadn't in years. Profits doubled, then tripled. One afternoon, Daniel called Maya into the office. "I have another proposal," he said. "How would you like to co-manage the diner with me? Officially. Equal say." Maya's eyes widened. "Me? But I'm just a waitress." "No," Daniel corrected gently. You're the reason this place is alive again. I may own it, but you're the soul of it. With trembling hands, she accepted. For the first time in years, she felt hope blossom like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Epilogue. Months later, Dewdrop Diner became the most beloved spot in town. Tourists stopped by, drawn by glowing reviews about the little diner with the world's kindest waitress. Maya's financial struggles eased, and Jamal thrived in school, proud of his sister's success. And every morning, Daniel and Maya would stand at the door together, greeting customers like family, proof that kindness, once dismissed as weakness, could change everything. The truth had left everyone speechless, but it had also left them inspired. For in the heart of one poor black waitress lay the power to revive not just a diner, but an entire community.